Alright, you bastards, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today we're going to talk about alternatives for toilet paper. But before we do that, if you're interested into detective stories, this is the first of an 11-part series that I wrote called Bloody Crosses. It's in Dutch. If you're interested, it will be down in the description, in the link. Alright, so alternative for toilet papers. For toilet paper, we all heard the jokes about toilet paper and people who stock up on them during the Corona pandemic. And yeah, toilet paper, as you know, is one of those things that is most people would not know how to do it differently than with this. But I would advise to look first into history. How did people in every age and place did wipe their business, so to say? So those are things where I got inspiration from. I will talk about those periods with the examples that I got. But toilet paper is something very recent, actually. So I would say try to look. It's a sort of cultural bias that a lot of people have because in a lot of places in the world they do it differently. So that's what we're going to talk about in case there is a long term or even a short term survival scenario or a bug in, or you have to find an alternative way because the toilet paper is not available, or the toilet is not working like it used to be. So we're going to talk about that in another video. Alternative uses, toilet uses. You can improvise. So, what can we do? All right. After toilet paper, I would say the obviously obvious things are like we know your grandfathers and grandmothers and your great grandfathers and mothers, they probably use toilet paper. And yeah, that's in the time where they still use septic pits to latrines to do their bidding in, so to say. So yeah, in a regular toilet you cannot really use this because the piping systems for the sewers are not meant to use this kind of alternative papers. But if you can improvise an outhouse into your backyard or something like, or you can put it into a compost heap, that's something that you can use alternative paper like newspapers, um, or perhaps you got some bill from taxes or from your insurance. I would say use the one for the insurance. They use sturdier paper than the paper that are used by taxes, by the tax collectors. So that's another thing. That's something I would personally suggest. Or if we all know um, those little napkins that you can get into restaurants, perhaps wet wipes, but yet again, watch out that you do not use them into a conventional toilet because they will not be able to flush or be what's the it will not how do you say this when something is going to rot away? You know what I mean. Use it in the good place at a good time. So toilet napkins are a good alternative that you can cheaply get for toilet papers, but these will run out at some point, and they have a lot of other uses. So now we are going to really talk about alternatives, like how they do it in the world. I would say in other parts of the world they use a hose or a how do you say this, bidet bottle to wipe their bottom. So like in we all know the jokes about in Japan they have a sort of sprinkler system into their toilet to wipe it clean. Well, the same thing you can apply with things that you just normally use. The first thing that is very important when you're going to use water as a bidet for your to clean your derrière, yeah, that's French. Uh, that is have clean water. So always have a way to have clean water, whether it's a Berkey water filter to use rainwater or other types of water to clean them, that you will not get bacteria or viruses into your sensitive body spot. So you will not create cholera or some other disease, dysentery. Those are all disease that people can get if they use dirty water near their orifices. So yeah, that's something that you first need to watch out for. First of all, I would say this is a bottle bidet. You can just put it into clean water. By the way, you suck it up, and then you hold it. to the dirty spot to say, you squeeze and you splash water to clean it away. The thing is, because it's like you can hear, it's really pushing the water out, and it's that pushing motion that will spray most of the dirt away. And in the worst case, you can use a tip to scrape it a little bit off if you really have a problem, if you have really bad dinner or you reacted bad to a new diet during the survival situation. So yeah, water bottle bidet is something that I would certainly advise to get into your house. But even if you do not use it, it's handy for when and sewers or there are works at the sewers or your toilet is not flushing correctly or there is something broken about the toilet and you cannot uh, use it the same way. You can use this and just a bucket or something. So yeah, that's an alternative use. Next thing, I've talked about this. This is a water sprayer for giving the plants water. Or yeah, most people use this to spray toxics, pesticides, and herbicides. But do not use this if you have used this for certain chemical products like herbicides and pesticides. So watch out that you use a clean one. So I do not use this for chemicals. I use it for several things actually. Like it's an improvised how do you say this, fire extinguisher in case that I need that I can in places that I cannot reach in my house with a hose. So yeah, you can put this, if you know how this works, you can put this set this under pressure, and then you can take this and you can use it to spray your derriere clean, and you can even adjust the strength of the water spray. So yeah, you will definitely get clean with this one, and it's an improvised way to like those Japanese toilets that will spray it. So yeah, that's something you can use. Next thing, something like this. This is one of those big syringes that they used to that I got left over from a water purification system, like like one of those hand filters. And this extra you can actually use to get water in, hold it to the rear, and just spray the 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 dirt away to say. So yeah, that's also an alternative way you can use it. Next thing is the Roman way, I would say. So how did the Romans wash their derriere? Well, they did it by many people. The people who know, they heard about a stick with a sponge, and that was a communal sponge. So yeah, a lot of people use the same toilets because toilets were in Rome in the Roman time were public, where strangers just sit next to each other and wipe their bottom with the same sponge on a stick. So I was always wondering would this work, because in the time there was a lot of disease, so they would have noticed that, right? So what I discovered, if you look into history, is what they used is vinegar. So they put in a bucket with water vinegar, so the vinegar will kill bacteria and viruses, and it also cleans the sponge on a stick, and that way, if you take it out and you wipe your bottom, it's in a way disinfected. So yeah, vinegar is one of those things that they use to disinfect the water and the stick, so you will not there is less chance you give diseases or bacteria to other people who use the same toilet. So that's just something that we need to think about. People, how did people did it into history, and it is one of those fun examples that I always found weird before I knew how they would do it. It's not just a dirty sponge on a stick that they shared, it's a disinfected sponge on a stick that they shared. So look into history in deep detail and you will find those answers. Next thing, yeah, you can improvise a sponge on a stick, like with a washing towel or something that is soft and scrape, and you can attach it to a sponge on a stick. Uh, all right. Next thing you can use is something improvised. Just uh, in rural America in frontier time, what did they use to wipe the bottoms? Well, if you look into history, they use several things like leaves, pieces of hay, grass to wipe it off and put it into the septic tank of the toilet or latrine. And they also used corn cobs. The corn cobs, when you eat corn or maize and you have eaten the cob, you're left with a corn cob. So they use that to scrape it off and throw it away in a compost heap, and that way it gets used and recycled, and their bottoms were a little bit cleaner. So that's also another way to think outside of the box and to reuse certain materials to wipe your bottom. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit almost around with how people do it. Oh no, I forgot one thing about. It's not only about a portable spraying hose. In certain countries, like in Northern Africa, they use a hose. So it's just like you know a garden hose, but you connect it with the water supply, and you spray it just like that clean. So they do not have to use toilet paper. So yeah, I think I'm almost around now. There is only one thing I want to tell you about going about alternative uses for the toilet, and that is you can save some on toilet paper to say by changing your diet. If you always live on junk food or always eat some fast food like Mexican or Chinese food that you're not really accustomed to, you will always have you everybody will know you will have a bad time wiping. You will keep wiping. So if you change your diet, there is less to wipe, and you can save that way on water or pay a toilet paper to use it. Next thing I would say is eat less. What do I mean by that? Our diets are terrible in a certain way because you people used to eat when they are hungry, but now we eat because we feel like eating. So do you, if you know what I mean, we eat too much for what our bodies are used to. So sometimes I see people go to the toilet 2 or even 3 times a day. So that's not a normal diet. So yeah, that's a way to change your diet, and you will have less to wipe. Is what I'm trying to say. So if you have any other alternatives for toilet paper that you can improvise at home with homemade stuff, or something that is a common daily and cheap item, I would say let me know it into the comments. I'm always interested to learn new things. Subscribe, I would appreciate it. Leave a like, all that good stuff. And I would say thank you for watching and keep your ass clean. Cheers.